The scenery outside reminds me of my pride, reminds me of my will. At the windowsill, I sit and see the grays. The children, they all play and laugh amongst themselves. Somehow remind me of myself on the merry-go-round.
What's happening, YouTube? It's Trev. It's Saturday morning, and I'm sitting at the asphalt plant, waiting to get the call to get loaded with some asphalt and take it to the job. And so while I'm sitting here, I started thinking about a situation that happened to me last season and how it kind of relates to some things I've been noticing in the crypto market, right? So, I like to use analogies and tell stories to kind of get you to understand the way that I'm thinking. So bear with me while I tell you a quick little story. So last year, I was at this very same asphalt plant and sitting here waiting to get loaded. Now, this year we actually own our own asphalt company. We're our own paving company now, right? And that's what we're doing. But last year, I would go out on rental, they call it, right? Or I would subcontract with other paving companies who would hire me in the truck to bring asphalt to the job. They would be paving a driveway or a road or a parking lot, whatever, right? And so last year, I remember this one particular time, and this happens often. The site foreman told me, all right, go to the plant and then just sit and wait for us to call you to get loaded. And you're going to be getting a full load of 19 millimeter binder. I know that means nothing to you, but whatever, right? So I know what I'm picking up, the kind of asphalt I'm picking up, but I know that I'm not ready to pick it up yet. Now understand that this asphalt is mixed here in the plant, and then it goes into what we call a silo. And in that silo, it stays hot. And when I say hot, it's 300 degrees or better, right? Or hotter in the silo. As soon as it comes out of that silo and goes into my truck, there's nothing to keep it heated, so it begins to cool off. If asphalt cools off too much, it becomes junk, it becomes garbage, it becomes very hard to work with, very hard to compact, very hard to rake. It has to be really, really hot. So the site supervisor basically needs to time it just right. They know how long it's going to take me to get from the plant to the job. And as I'm driving, I've got air running over the asphalt. It's getting cooler, right? So they want to time it just right, and they want to make sure that I get loaded at the very last minute so that when I get to the site, they're ready for me and they can use that asphalt. It's piping hot, right? Well, it happened to be a Saturday, just like it is today. And there were very few paving jobs going on in the area. So there were a couple trucks here before me. They got loaded. They were done. I was the last truck for the day for the asphalt plant to load. And I was sitting here maybe a couple hours waiting for the site supervisor to call. So you got a couple guys that are working at the plant, but you got one guy who's running the plant inside, and he's sitting there probably tapping his fingers waiting to load me because it's a beautiful, sunny, 75-degree day on a Saturday. And once he loads me, he can shut down the plant and go home, right? Well, I guess he got a little tired of waiting, and he sent one of his guys over to tell me, hey, you're all set now. You can go jump onto silo 3 and get loaded, right? So I'm like, right? I was supposed to get a call from the site supervisor. Now, if I were a new driver, I would have went and I would have said, oh, okay, all right, fine. I would have went and got onto silo 3. I would have got loaded. I would have got to the job. They wouldn't have been ready for me, and I would have been in a lot of trouble, right? But I'm not a new driver. I know how these guys are. So before I got onto the silo to get loaded, I called the site supervisor, and I said, look, you're ready for this asphalt now? No, we're not ready for it. Just sit there and wait, right? So, okay, and I let him know what happened. The guy's telling me to get loaded now, right? And them fucking guys, blah, blah, construction guys, right? So I told him, well, listen, you call them and deal with it because they want me to get loaded so you can get out of here. He's telling me that if I don't get loaded by a certain time, that's it. They're shutting down the plant. You're not getting your asphalt, blah, 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 right? So I let that guy deal with it. Here's what would have happened. If I had gone and I got loaded, right, and I got that asphalt back to the job and they weren't ready for it, and that asphalt, that asphalt went cold and they couldn't use it, and the asphalt plant shut down after I left, They wouldn't have been able to complete their job. I would have been charged for that asphalt because I didn't follow directions. Now we're talking probably somewhere around $800 to $1,000 for a truckload of asphalt, right? And that would have been the least that it would have cost me, because that company would never have hired us to haul asphalt for them again, right? If they didn't actually maybe even sue me for damages because they couldn't finish their job, and they probably got in trouble with the people that they, I mean, it can really snowball and get really, really bad. You've got to follow instructions. Now, the asphalt plant operator knows this, right? He knows all this could happen, but he didn't care. He didn't care about what the consequences might be to me. He didn't care about what the consequences might be at the job site, right? It was a beautiful Saturday, and he wanted to go home and, I don't know, mow his lawn, have a beer. I don't know what he wanted to do, but he wanted to get out of there and did not care what it was going to cost me. This is a person who, I don't hang out with or whatever, but I've known for years. I know him by name. I come and get loaded here all the time, right? We've laughed and joked about things, and for all intents and purposes, I think is a decent guy, right? But when it came right down to it, thought about himself and not me. People can be assholes, plain and simple, right? They can be very, very selfish. Very often, it is all about them, never about you. They don't care what the consequences are to you, what makes it convenient for them, what works best for them. That's how people are, right? Okay, how does that all, 6 minutes, that story, how does that all relate to crypto? Or to the market in general? Well, we've all heard of rug pulls. We know what that is, right? You invest in something, you're holding on to it. I don't know what you put into it, but you wake up the next morning, the devs are gone. They took your money and they're in the Bahamas somewhere. You'll never find them again, right? Horrible situation that happens to people. Something that you may or may not have heard of is something called a honeypot, right? And this is where you'll have a project, and they want to get in as many buyers as possible to jack the price up as high as possible. And there's a target, right? There's a target price for, maybe the developers or whatever, where once the price gets up to a certain amount, they're going to take out their bag, which is probably a huge bag, right? They're going to make their money. It's going to tank the price, but they're not worried about what happens to all the people that were holding, okay? That's kind of generally what a honeypot is, right? There's something that I call a soft honeypot. And this might be a very legitimate project, right? And the project launches, and the development team or the core team, they have their tokens or their coins, right? And they've got maybe huge bags that they got themselves. There are some whales that get in at the beginning and they get huge bags, and maybe some lucky investors who get in right at the beginning and they get themselves some huge bags, and they are going to hype and hype and hype, right? And they're going to tell everybody that comes after them that this project can get to this price and it can get to that price. And you've got to hodl, right? You've got to hold on for dear life. Don't sell. If you sell, we're never going to reach this price, that price, whatever, right? And they talk you into holding on much longer than maybe you should have, okay? And if they tell you that the price is going to get to $5, maybe their price is $4, and they know that once it reaches $4, they're selling their huge bags. The price is going to tank and probably never hit that $5. You're going to be left holding the bag, right? And they do this because they are selfish, right? They're only looking out for themselves. Any project that you're in right now, where you hear everybody telling you, hold, hold, hold. If you don't hold, you're a paper-handed pussy, right? They're guilting you into holding. I guarantee you, any one of those holders, right? Those fellow holders of yours who are telling you, hold, 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 don't sell, don't sell, don't sell. It's not because they're worried about you making the potential money that you can make. It's because they're worried about them making the potential money they want to make. They've got a price target that they want to get to with their bag. And if you don't hold and the price goes down, it'll never get there for them. People are very, very selfish, okay? This happens a lot, right? Now, there are some projects out there where this is what I would say look for, okay? When you've got a development team, you've got a core team that is telling you, we're going to get here, we're going to get there, this is what we're doing, you know, blah, 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 just give it time. Don't worry about the chart. This is where we're going to go, right? And they're never telling you anything other than that. It's just all hype, 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 hype. Well, ignore all that and take your profits where you are comfortable, right? Do that, because soft honeypot, right? They're trying to get the price to a certain amount so that they can do what they want to do, and they can't do it without you holding. But that you holding could cost you money, right? But if you have a team, or find a team that says, you know what? Let us worry about getting the price up. Let us worry about running this project. Let us worry about what the market is doing and all that. You do what's best for you. If you want to take profits along the way, profits on the way up, please do it responsibly. If you're holding a big bag, try not to tank it on everybody else, right? But if you want to take profits on the way up, do it. Just, you know, kind of do it responsibly, right? If you've got a team that's telling you that, that's a team you can trust. Those are very rare to find. Very, very rare to find. And I'm going to throw this name out, Elmo ERC, right? And this isn't a video for Elmo, right? I'm just saying that in a long time, that is the only team that I have dealt with in a long time who has said that. And I've heard them say it to people in the TG. They've said it to me, right? Take your profits. If you need to take profits, take profits. Please do it responsibly. Try not to sell all at once if you can at all help it, but do whatever you've got to do. Let us worry about where the price is going to go and keeping the price up and everything, right? That's a project you can trust. Don't trust any of these other people who are telling you hold, hodl, for dear life, hold on, right? Do what is best for you with your money so that you don't lose, because no one is looking out for you but you. Teaching moment, right? So hopefully you'll take those words to heart and you'll think about it when you're looking at your bag and you're looking at the price going up and you're hearing everybody say, oh, it can go so much higher, it can go so much higher. Well, if it's already gone up, at least take out your initial investment, right? Now, what you're working with free money, okay? If you can take out your initial plus 5%, now you're ahead of the game no matter what happens. If all the rest of it goes to zero, you still made money. And if you can keep making little bits and little bits and little bits, that's how you build your bag. And now you're playing with much larger amounts of money, okay? Now you're doing well. That's the way to do it, guys. That's the way to do it. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section. Hit the like button for me if you could on the way out. And I'll rant at you about some more stuff later. Ciao.